So when I left the Sunday Times, which, you know, I've had a 30-year journalistic career, it appeared to me that there was an opportunity for me to be a bit braver and start to write my own things. And I had a book in mind, and I went to try and write that differently, non-journalistically, by doing an MA at Warwick University. But actually, deep down, the thing I'd always loved the most was poetry. And just hadn't allowed, I really thought that it was something that I almost wasn't allowed to do. And you know, you'd have to get a psychologist in the room to explain that to you. But I'm sure I'm not alone. And when I got to Warwick, I decided to take a poetry module. And it was just like stepping into the playground. I mean, it was just fantastic. I loved it. The tutor was David Morley, who's a superb teacher. And I realised that's what I wanted to do. So I think I learnt that writing is about play after a lifetime of making writing about work, and that it's physical. And poetry is physical because you have to, there's a rhythm in it that comes from somewhere inside, I think. But when I think more broadly about what I've learnt about fiction writing as well, they're the same principles. They're kind of deep within, and they don't come. Things don't come because you say, you know, I've got to write 500 words today or whatever. It's physical, gutsy, spiritual stuff, and that's very different to journalism. It's very different to copywriting or something like that. So you have to be in a different space. But when you look at the writing that talks about the senses, it comes, you know, you see that writing comes alive. It's not just about what's in the head, but it's about all the detail of smell and the sensuality of life. That brings writing alive. And in that way, I think it's physical. And language itself is physical. And I grew up in an Irish Catholic family, so the rituals of the liturgy in the Mass, the way that things are sung and the way that things are said, and the effect that sound and music has on the body, all of this is fantastically physical stuff. But I think we often tell ourselves that writing is a cerebral, intellectual activity. I think the more you can shove that idea to one side, the better, because I think that disables people. They think they're not going to be good enough. So, and as for myself, I think it was the awareness of playing, and the awareness that the kind of, when you start to write, the beat and the sounds of things that you've absorbed almost unconsciously start to come through. From reading I realised that, you know, I'd been reading poetry for years and years, and I can now see perhaps some of the people who've influenced me without me even realising, and music. And my dad, who worked in the car factories in Coventry, he'd come from Yorkshire to work there. He met my mum, who was Irish, in the mills in Halifax, and then they moved to Coventry, and I was born there. And I've written a pamphlet of sonnets, 15 linked sonnets, which is called A Crown of Sonnets, which is really about them. And it's called Black and Blue. So I'll just read you the first sonnet, Black and Blue. It's blacker than blue. Your hand is going black, I said. Me in one front room armchair, you in the other. A side table offering soccer book, specs, crossword from the Daily Mirror. It's not black, it's bloody blue, you said, and I'm not going back. We did. A bag containing razor, rosary, and all the weary rest, carried to yet another bed. It was as far as you went. Blue chair empty now, only the dent of your forearms left impressed, surrounded by the proud puzzles of your life. Photos of grandchildren's confirmations, the wife who died too soon, consolation in beer and Radio 5 Live. I see you young and alone, doing what's right, washing my schoolgirl's socks by hand, whiter than white.
For more updates and videos, either follow Inky Dumbbell's YouTube channel or follow me on Twitter @RowanHLB. See you soon.